The main ideas of this channel, the agenda, the reinforced concepts, the hidden meaning and message. My most secret agenda of what I'm trying to push on this channel is the concept of voluntary existence. This is the primary tenet of this channel. As you know, if you've seen my other videos, I remember choosing my life in another dimension, the afterlife dimension, whatever you want to call it. But my mission on earth is to spread this message. The message is that we choose our lives in another dimension, and if we all remember that we actively chose to be here, that we are voluntarily participating in a voluntary existence, I believe we would change the way we organize ourselves and govern our lives and spend our 24 hours a day. To beat around the bush to get to that, I speak about, are we in an MMORPG, a video game, a simulation theory? I have the Question Reality series, which episode 5 directly discusses voluntary existence. And thus, if we are living in a voluntary existence or a simulation, are we having the best experience? I try to provoke that. Is your life the best life it could possibly be? Are you getting your money's worth? Are you having the fondest, greatest, most memorable experience? You are here voluntarily. Is it meeting your expectations? I'm making this video as a disclosure in hopes that others would start to disclose what their hidden agenda is. If you want to know what my truest hidden agenda is, it's to spread this idea that if I chose my life in another dimension and I remember it, chances are you did too. That is my evil agenda, to spread that message. This is my deepest, darkest secret, the reason for this channel. And it is no secret if you see my other videos. But because sometimes I see people think that I'm a shill or that I have some kind of ulterior motive. My motive is this. Share the concept of voluntary existence. My mission is to spread this message. It's the core of everything. Anything else I do is beating around the bush to get to this point. Everything I speak of derives from this perspective. So if you want to know my secret agenda, this is it. And the following slides are the subtopics, the sub things that I like to spread. But this is the most important thing to me, is to let you know that I remember vividly choosing my life in another dimension. Now, seemingly the most important topic to this channel is artificial scarcity. I speak about it all the time because I think this is the root cause of all problems on the earth and is the single solution to resolve every current problem. It will introduce new problems, but every presently existing problem that exists, if you break it down, it's from artificial scarcity in one form or another. And artificial scarcity includes suppressed technology. Examples of suppressed technology are free energy, advanced 3D printing, not the rudimentary stuff you see, but like the replicator from Star Trek, biotechnology, cures, super abilities, that's kind of like biotechnology, automation, robotics, AI, all the stuff so that human beings would no longer need to be employed and could have all of their free time freed up to go about your lives however you'd like to, and have all of the basic necessities of life and some of the material desires fulfilled. And what I mean by artificial scarcity, just in case that word throws you off, I mean that abundance is hidden. They want you to think that we live in a world of scarcity where there isn't enough, when the reality is the technology exists to absolutely reproduce everything everlastingly till infinity. But those technologies are suppressed so that we all have to work, and the reason for the work is they want to keep you occupied so you don't have free time, because if you had free time, then you might figure out what's actually going on. The technology exists to feed every person on earth, to give every person everything they ever wanted forever and ever. There is an endless amount, and this concept is hidden from you so that you have to continue to pay, continue to be metered, and have your life wasted. My challenge to you is the following. Think of all the problems that are on your mind for the world, every problem that exists out there, and ask yourself, is the root cause of this artificial scarcity? If you could find something, a problem in the world that doesn't have its root in artificial scarcity, I challenge you to put it in the comments below And if you're right, I'll say, hey, touche, that's interesting, because that'll give me something to think about. But I believe all the problems, every single one of them, can be tied back to artificial scarcity. Oh, wait, there's one caveat to that. Land is scarce. Land is about the only thing that is scarce, and it's really not scarce right now. Right now, it seems that it's abundant. There's plenty of land on Earth, but land is finite. Everything else is infinite. The other thing, and this is the one I get all the time from guys, is there's only one Angelina Jolie, so every guy can't marry Angelina Jolie. That's the female they bring up with all the time. But yeah, there's only one Angelina Jolie, but we can make androids as an option. I don't know if that works for you, but that's what I came up with. So land is scarce and Angelina Jolie is scarce. Mass manipulation. This used to be a huge topic for me, but many others have taken up the banner of explaining this. Nearly everything you've been exposed to is a lie or misleading. Media, education, authoritative sources, religion, superstition, divide and rule, obscurantism, gaslighting, denial, suppression, removal, deletion, the memory hole, revisionism, one-sided blame, exclusion of inconvenient truth. These are all mass manipulation techniques. Don't let the religion part throw you off. I know a lot of people are religious, and that's their trigger. That's their reason for their channels. I'm not atheist. I believe in the supreme architect. When I think of where my morals came from, I think they came from the Force, from Star Wars and my parents. I did go to an Episcopalian church school for preschool. I was baptized by them, but I've never practiced as a Christian or any other of the religions. I believe I have Christian values, Boy Scout values, honor, integrity, courage, decency, care for others. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and all that. I sang all the songs, God Bless America, America the Beautiful, My Country, 'Tis of Thee, which was probably my favorite of them all. Sweet Land of Liberty, of Thee I Sing. But I do like God Bless America probably the best. I'm not sure. I like them all. I have patriotism. I love the USA, American exceptionalism. But at the same time, I appreciate the cultures of others and enjoy speaking with people not from the United States, because I love experiencing different points of view. And sometimes it's nice finding the common ground as well. So I'm not exclusive. I don't discriminate. I love all people. Negative people, but hey, at least I take the time to try to speak to you guys to hopefully change you over to the light. But I also love USA. I love the American pie. I was raised on the positivity, the greatness, the shining city, all the Ronald Reagan stuff, because he was the president when I was a little kid, and Dan Marino was my quarterback. So I'm from that era. I'm into spirituality, but I'm into my own message. Like, I feel like I'm my own prophet messenger with my message of choosing our lives in another dimension. Religious people have an issue with that, but most of them, I'd say, did you learn your religion or did you experience it? I experienced these memories. They could be implanted. I could be completely delusional, but this message has driven me from infancy to present day. It's my reason for being. And authoritative sources, as I mentioned above, citing authoritative sources, give me a break. Obscurantism is, there's groups of people out there, most people, especially anyone in the workplace, they try to confuse everything for job security. And that's why you can't understand contracts, end user license agreements, law, legal documents, so many, and jargon. Every industry has their own jargon. And that's just to make things seem more complicated, to reduce competition, to create barriers to entry, to basically create a secret club. Suppression of information happens all the time. I even saw it today happen. Removal, deletion, the memory hole. The memory hole is where inconvenient information goes to. People revise stuff. Political people on both sides of the spectrum spin and twist information, omit. There's a term called selective exposure. We're only shown certain things and other things are kept completely invisible to us. The paranormal, alternate perspectives. UFO, flat earth, spirituality, discuss the societally forbidden things. So with ufology, it always appealed to me because it was always said that if UFOs were revealed, it would challenge the governments and the religions and the sciences. And since I'm here to introduce a new idea of choosing our lives, it always appealed to me because that's what I need. That's my whole point here, is to challenge your belief system and to introduce a new one. And that's why I've always been open to discuss the societally forbidden things. And I don't mean like weird sex things. I'm not into talking about that. I'm talking about just topics that are normal but are forbidden. There's nothing that drives me nuts more than when somebody tries to express new ideas or controversial ideas, and then you have the other people in the conversation that act like, you're weird because you're not talking about the same exact pre-established, approved things. And it's like, what's the point of even hanging? I couldn't even imagine wanting to be around you. They're like trying to exclude me out of the convo or exclude the other person out of the convo. But if it's anything like me, I'm thinking, man, if you don't want to talk about these things, I'm excluding you. You're not excluding me. And that's my reciprocation. I don't normally think elite like that or to exclude people. But when people challenge me, I don't just sit back and let them win. Any challenge, I'm a confrontational kind of person if the argument is brought my way, because I don't think nearly anyone out there has done the level of research or spent the time and devoted themselves to it. Anyone that has wouldn't be arguing. They'd be in alliance with me and we'd be working together instead of trying to suppress each other's free speech. And so I'm trying to lead by example. There's been so many people over my years. I'm outspoken. I say what's on my mind. I don't necessarily say what's on my mind. I speak the things that are forbidden. Or I should say, I say the things that need to be said. And after the group leaves and it is reduced to a one-on-one, people reveal things to me that they would never say to other people. Or they'll say things like, man, I wish I could just speak like you speak and speak out. And I'm like, why can't you? What's stopping you? Oh, I'm scared what people might think. I'm like, dude, people are going to think things of you anyway. You might as well be the one that's crafting the narrative. People are going to say things about me. I can't stop them. You can't stop them. So say your truth. Speak your truth into existence. I'm always going to speak mine. I'm not going to let anyone else prevent my message, my reason for some kind of societal thing. And the beauty of this is when you subscribe to this channel, it quantifies that my perspective is not an obscure minority. Every day it grows. And when that grows, it causes the other people that in the past may have been able to silence me just through sheer outnumbering. They can't now because my numbers are there. And it's not to say my numbers to show off. Those numbers give this message power. Because a person might say, oh, well, that John Lippe, he's a nobody, or it doesn't matter what he says. Nobody listens to him. And then you see that 10,000 plus people are. And then it's like, well, hey, man. So if you're a subscriber, I thank you for subscribing because they want to dismiss everything I say and laugh it off or just make it sound like it's irrelevant or push it to the back or just do anything. But when the numbers are there, they can't. They want to keep things the way they are. They want to continue defining reality to you and prevent alternative voices from being heard. And if they are heard, they just ridicule them and dismiss them. But when we have the numbers, they can't. Dual legacy. Throughout history, there have been opposing dominant positions that have permeated society. And that's the name of my company, is Dual Legacy Entertainment. And it was one of the main objectives in this program I was in called the Learning Community when I was in college. And it was it was probably the most enriching learning experience I had. I didn't even know there were opposing points of view. Once I discovered that, I then saw agendas. I then understood how I was being manipulated. The dual legacy, the opposing views, there's so many to list. They say it begins with Plato versus Aristotle, and then later on with Locke versus Hobbes, Jefferson versus Hamilton. And I always just want to bring balance to the force. So I devil's advocate any polarity. I always present the alternative perspective because I don't think that there's one way for anything. The first tenet is all ways are the only way. There's never only one answer except that which is all answers. But I also see that the polarity to that would be, no, there's only one way. I think when you think one way, it limits your experience. It's good to have multiple roadmaps for reality. I think I got that from The Road Less Traveled. Balance to the force is being open-minded. Even in conspiracy theory, with people that are supposedly awake, they become extremists for one angle or another. And I think that limits them and that closes their mind. There are closed-minded conspiracy theorists out there. Imagine that, a closed-minded conspiracy theorist. And I'm saying no matter what, you have to remain open-minded. And that's what the great philosophers and thinkers and masters, they tell you. The wise man knows that he knows nothing. Another reason for this channel is just random ideas cross my mind all the time. And I just need an outlet for it. And just telling it to one person is never enough. I need to have posterity. I need it to be solidified, immortalized forever. So some examples are the AI review. David, we're watching you. It's an artificial intelligence movie. 13th floor. You and Fuller were not supposed to find out. Reality is not real. Grunch is bad, but we got to use their tools. Implications of technology. I came up with this idea. There should be a love movie called Natural Selection. Unseen Hand. There's a book called The Unseen Hand. I might do a series on that. A mistake to think human spirituality is somehow already understood and established. It's a mistake to think, can thrusters and fire work in space if there's no air? The water flattens. So I write down ideas when they cross my mind. At the time, I think they're great ideas. Sometimes when I speak them out, like right now, I realize that, those probably should have just been left to myself. But there's a lot of people out there that like to hear the thoughts that go through my head. So this channel, the agenda is to allow me to just openly share my ideas. I hope I'm doing it right. I always saw TV. I used to think they were doing it wrong with TV. It's like, why is there all this entertainment? There should be like a philosophy channel, a math channel, learning. TV should be used for sharing information, infotainment, edutainment. I don't want to be entertained. I want to be informed. I want to learn. So I'm just trying to disclose all my agendas. At the root of everything, I'm just trying to share the idea that I remember choosing my life in another dimension, artificial scarcity. And this is the Jonathan Lippe channel, the ideas and philosophies of Jonathan Lippe. I don't represent any other organization other than Dual Legacy. So I don't represent the Flat Earthers. I don't represent Tupac Shakur. I don't represent the Republicans or the Democrats. I represent Jonathan Lippe. That's my agenda, is to advance my ideas and my philosophies. Now, periodically, I have been paid by others to make videos, and I think those will be clear which those are. But anytime I speak about me, it's not about me. It's by leading by example to say you too should speak out. You too, your perspective is valid. You are allowed to speak your mind. I'm giving you permission. Be yourself. Now, there's consequences to being yourself. Oh, there are. But why would you want to be anything but yourself? So I'll just leave you with that. Thank you all for being subscribers of this channel. It really makes a difference. We have made a difference and have shaped the world. And that's why they want you to be silent. That's why they want you to fear what others will think. Since I haven't cared what people think, I've spoken out. And the things I have spoken about have become real. And they know that that's the secret. That's the law of attraction. That's why they don't want your thoughts, because they want to be able to dominate reality with their thoughts. The less of your thoughts and the more of their thoughts, the more of you reinforcing their position, the more their reality comes out. So I'm speaking my reality. And the more it grows, the better the world becomes. We've been given this wonderful tool of the internet, and I am not going to waste it. Every day I try to utilize this internet to spread my thoughts as far as they can go, as often as I can. Other people are just wasting this opportunity to communicate, to shape and craft the world in our image. You know, it makes me think of the story John Teeter told. Now, I know John Teeter it might have been an internet hoax, but his messages, the concepts we can learn from. He said that people in the future despise the people of our time, of the present, because we threw away our freedom. We squandered it. I don't want to be in that number. I don't want to be, when the future happens, I want them to say, everybody but John Lippe and maybe Jesse Ventura and Alex Jones. They did everything they could. And I know you're going to get mad at Alex Jones because you've been told he's a shill, but there's a reason for that too. Maybe one day I'll get to that. Concepts matter. Whether or not these people are frauds or not, irrelevant. What did you learn from them? You're not supposed to believe in the person, believe in the information, or you don't have to believe in it. Just consider the information. So I don't want to let this opportunity go to waste. I'm using it with all my might to spread my message. I'm disclosing to you what my agenda is so that you know exactly where I'm coming from. I believe in positivity. I am not negative. I'm not pessimistic. I love the future. I want the future to be what it was promised to me to be. The hopeful, wonderful, advanced, technological, automated future where human beings are allowed to freely go about and enjoy their lives in a whole adventure of wonder. I want people to be liberated, to not live under control and rule, and to have the ability to do what they want, to be all they can be, to not have their lives wasted. Why is that far out? Why is this forbidden? I want to destroy the control mechanisms and liberate the people, and to give them the abundance so that the conflict that ensues from the artificial scarcity won't be there. If you give people abundance, they will have no reason to create conflict with one another, and you won't need to control them. If everybody had the replicator to create absolutely anything they ever had, jealousy, envy, all those things will be irrelevant. They'll be obsolete. But I'm the weirdo. I'm the weirdo. The people that try to maintain the status quo of work till you die, pay, debt, all that is normal. All that is acceptable. Freedom, free time, liberation, those aren't. Why? Why couldn't you talk about this in a conversation? I do all the time. It makes people uncomfortable, and I don't know why. I guess they like being slaves. I guess they like being told what to believe, what to do, what's acceptable and what's not. I don't. And I don't think you do either. And once we all start to decide that we want our lives back, the quicker you'll get it. I remember reading in Conversations with God, the main character, Neil Donald Walsh, was writing down all of his complaints to God, and God said, all these things exist because you want them to be here. And he says, what? God said, if you want it to be changed, you could do it overnight. For some sick, twisted reason, you like it like this. Same within the Matrix. When Agent Smith said to Morpheus, you know, Morpheus, the first Matrix was a complete utopia, but your primitive cerebrums couldn't handle the programming language. You somehow like to define your existence through pain and suffering. And thus, the new Matrix was made. Well, I don't like the pain and suffering. So I think I've made clear what I stand for, who I am. These are the main ideas. Choosing my life, ending artificial scarcity, bringing upon the abundance, the freedom, the free time, a better world for all human beings from sea to shining sea, like we sang as kids. Let freedom ring. Oh, and if you're looking for a manifesto, the 9th insight of the Celestine prophecy, it nearly was identical to what I foresaw, what I wanted to achieve. And when I read the 9th insight of the Celestine prophecy, that's why I adopted the Celestine prophecy as a major agenda item on what I speak on, because it was so in alignment with what I was trying to get done. So check out the 9th insight, because that is the manifesto of how we can create a better future. And R. Buckminster Fuller outlines another aspect of how to end the artificial scarcity with his design decade. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for subscribing. It's up to you, though. We all have to make the world a better place.